Hello leaders, my name is Jacqueline. This is Cade. He just woke up from a nap. I was hoping he would sleep through this, but such is life, right? I wanted to just come on and talk to you about adding group members and growing your groups, planting seeds, growing groups, right? And since we can't do our Lou, I'm here on video and connecting with you this way. I wish that we were doing this in person, but alas, here we are. I just want to do a little bit about me. I'm a mom of 3. Kate is my youngest. I have an 8-year-old and a 4-year-old. I nursed all of them. In fact, I've been nursing like 8 years straight. It's been a wild journey for us. Didn't start off easy for my first one, but because of the struggles we had, that's why I'm here as a leader. I have a degree in public relations, and before I had kids, I worked as a park ranger for the Bureau of Land Management for almost 10 years. And so I wanted to share a little bit about my background with the Lecture League and how I have grown groups so far. I started off as a leader in a really small town in the Four Corners called Farmington, New Mexico. I was a lone leader. And basically, there hadn't been a La Leche League group there for, I don't know, maybe 7-8 years. So I literally had to start from scratch. Most people had never even heard of La Leche League before. They had no idea what it was. So I had to start fresh. And so I really had my work cut out for me. But I was there 3 years as a leader, and when I left, and leaving that group was probably one of the hardest things ever. But when I left and we moved to Arizona, my Facebook group had over 800 people in it, and this is just in the Four Corners, a small town in the Four Corners. And all of our meetings had, on average, probably about 10 parents at a meeting, and our Live, Love, Latch events had over 200 people every year since we started it. So it was crazy. The community was so super supportive, which played a huge role of why La Leche League was doing so well there, is because the community was so helpful. So anyway, that is like a little bit about my background and with the Leche League. So I was going to talk about like how I grew a group, kind of like from that. The biggest thing I did was just to get the word out there about La Leche League. Thankfully, I think my background in public relations really played a pretty big role on doing that. I initially did everything I could think of to get the word out there. I stopped at, I stopped in with the hospital lactation consultants. At the time, they didn't have their own group, so they were really excited. They were probably one of my biggest cheerleaders, which was so helpful. They put our meetings in their hospital flyer, so everybody who had a baby at the hospital went home with our meeting information, which is amazing. I stopped in at the midwifery clinics. I stopped in at doctor's offices, basically every place I could think of. And libraries, I even put information in newspapers about our meetings and then handed out flyers at all these places, just trying to get our name out there because nobody had ever heard of it, in 7-8 years. So, a really long time. And so, yeah, that was the biggest thing. I just went all over and tried to put our name and put flyers and just let these people know, hey, we're here now. Come find us. But honestly, I'm not sure I mean, the personal connections I made when I went to those places were very helpful, but actually getting people to our groups, I think the very biggest thing was social media. Social media is so huge right now in the Leche League. And of course, with everything going on right now in our world, social media is almost all we have. So how do we use social media to our advantage? And for me, it was setting up a Facebook group, which I know most of you already know. But creating that community online was just the biggest thing. It becomes a safe place for parents. You create your own little community pocket almost with peer-to-peer support, sharing information, meetings, events, and then getting to know the parents and then building those connections make it vital to creating that community environment within your Facebook group. I've always done events within the group and then advertise our meetings that way, which we can do for online meetings too, and which we all have been. What's nice about doing events within the group is when you create the event, it invites the whole group, unless you get too big, which I was when I was in New Mexico. I forget what the number is. I think it's like 750, 800. They may have nixed it, but until you get there, you can invite the whole group. Once you get there, you have to manually invite people. It's not good, but we're all good for that for now. Burn that bridge when we get there. And then what's nice is when you create the event within the group and you invite everyone, everyone gets a notification for the events. And so it kind of makes people, I don't know, a little more obligated to know about the event and to come to an event because they have that notification on Facebook. The second, or one of the other big things, is to make your group personal. That's the biggest thing, is because Leche League is about like creating these connections and having parents feel comfortable with us and making it a personal connection, right? So that we all can relate to each other and help each other. And that is such a big, big thing. One small thing that I do about making the group personal, and it's silly, I mean, not something you would like think of, but almost every meeting, I take a picture for several different reasons. And then I share the picture if everyone is okay with it within the group, not like to be used, for the Leche League and as a public thing, but in our private group or even in the event, but in our group. And I do it because it shows people who might be scared to go to a meeting kind of a glimpse of what meetings are like, what the space looks like, who was there, stuff like that. Also, it shows that other people are actually going to our meetings, especially if you have a big meeting. I mean, document it. Take a picture, caption it. Look at what a wonderful meeting we had today. Look at all these people that were there. Hope you can join us next month if you weren't there today, stuff like that. Just knowing that other people are going makes taking the leap to come less scary for many people, I think. And I know it would for me. If I saw, people are actually coming to the meeting, I wouldn't be the only one there. They actually have, quite a few people there. I would totally come after that, And it also helps create that community. Seeing people you might know at the meeting, or you might want to know, there's another mom with a toddler. Okay, I don't have to feel nervous about coming with my toddler because I see that there are toddlers there. Or, if they've gone to a meeting before and skipped that one and they start to wonder, I wonder how so-and-so's doing this month. I'll have to go next month and see her. So it also just kind of helps to create that little community. Also, with our events in the Facebook group, we do our meetings, our online meetings, in our actual events instead of in the group, so as not to clog the group up with all the meeting posts and to keep it a little bit more personal. Then after the event, you can do the same thing as taking a picture. You can go back to the group and say, we had a great turnout tonight on our online meeting. You can thank those that did participate, and you can even link the meeting so that other people can go back and look at it. And you can share a subject that you talked about. For example, like tonight at our meeting, our online meeting, we talked about this and we had a great discussion. We hope you guys can join us at our next online meeting, which will be linked in our events. Stuff like that. One really good example of community, I think, that I wanted to share, our Tucson University group just did their very first online meeting because they couldn't do an in-person meeting this past week. And seeing the connections in our little community pocket that we've created was just so beautiful. I actually didn't attend their meeting, but I went back and looked at it and read through the event. And, someone in their event and on the meeting had been working with Shelby, one of the local leaders here, and someone else had called me that morning, and they all posted in the event and, shared their connections a little bit. And a couple of parents had never even been to an actual La Leche League meeting. They said, oh, this is our first La Leche League meeting, and it's an online meeting. And they said, oh, we can't wait to come to a real meeting and meet some of these people we're talking to. So, having that Facebook group and building those connections, even online, like we're doing right now, only online meetings, is just so important to have that community and create that community and figuring out a way to make it personal. Another thing I do to try and get people to share and make it a little bit more personal and to get conversation going is I ask people to share a picture, share a Braille, share, your favorite picture of your, whatever you want, your baby, or, a story or something, just to help build the connections and make your page, your Facebook group, more personalized. I also do that in meetings, both in person and on Facebook. And one of the first things, I learned this at a communication workshop, but not La Leche League related, but I use it all the time. Just to help, like as a little icebreaker, I do introduce yourself and something totally random, like what your favorite dessert is, or something you saw on the way to the meeting, or a funny part of your day today. Just something random that has nothing to do with breastfeeding, that kind of just, breaks the ice, gets people to feel comfortable talking, and helps people, helps personalize it and make it a little bit easier to be open and to share, because they've just shared something totally random and it was okay. Let's see. When they come to your in-person meetings, once you get a parent there, whether it's in person or online, try to help foster the connection while they're there. If they've had an issue and you've talked to them about it, ask them to update the group, either at the next meeting, online, in person, and they can share what really helped them overcome their issue, to help them, build the group dynamics and help other parents. Another random thing I do, and I have no idea if this helps in any way, but I drop La Leche League's name all the time. I'll be in a mom group, not related to the La Leche League at all. Somebody will ask a random breastfeeding question, and I will drop La Leche League's name, not speaking as a leader, just say something like, well, I heard at a La Leche League meeting once that this was really helpful. And I do it all the time, even at, my daughter's dance class. There'll be other moms there. And I was at a La Leche League meeting the other day, and I heard, and really, I'll be like talking about myself, but I don't tell them that, a leader said this. But I think just dropping La Leche League's name often is a great way to potentially grow your group, because it just gets the name out there and lets people know that, hey, it's there, it exists. People are obviously going because some lady said that she went to a meeting once on Facebook or in dance class, and it just kind of helps, I don't know, get it out there. So if you can, and it comes up, just drop the name. You don't even have to say you're a leader. Just talk about La Leche League. Yeah, so anyway, it helps to get them to events. And speaking of events, I was going to talk about my other favorite part of La Leche League, but that's the gist of how I try and help grow my group, is building connections and getting your name out there. My two favorite things, and using Facebook to create personalized community pockets that help moms, parents, and just feel that connection of community that we all crave and desire to feel when we're going through parenthood. I feel like I'm talking fast. Sorry if I am. So yes, the other thing I wanted to talk about was Live, Love, Latch. And it's something I'm super passionate about. It is literally my favorite part of being a leader. I love doing these events. I have done them every year since I became a leader. I think I'm on my 6th year of leader. Yeah, I've been a leader 6 years, so I've done them 6 years. This will be my 6th year, I guess. I have always done these events as a big latch on as well, and combine the two and do it the first weekend of August. And boy, I'm really hoping that we can do it this August, and that, this pandemic and everything is over with by then, because I will be really sad if I don't get to do it this year. But anyway, I create an event again on Facebook for this event, but instead of doing it within the group, I do it on our public page. That way the event is public and it gets seen. It's more visualized than in the private group. I share it in the group, of course, and invite people to, be interested in the event. But when it's public on a page, it gets a lot more attention. So just one little tip I use to get people to come to our La Leche League Live, Love, Latch events. They're also a great way to grow your group. A lot of people that come to these events have never been to a La Leche League meeting before, ever. Some of them have never even heard of the La Leche League before this event. And so they come because they saw it somewhere, they wanted to be a part of the Big Latch On, they wanted to be a part of World Breastfeeding Week. They have no idea what La Leche League is. So it's a great opportunity to, one, share what La Leche League is, and two, get people to come to more events and more groups and look at how cool we are. We also do meetings every month all over town. Come join them. Come join our group. And, now that we've met you, I run this meeting, they run this meeting, come to our meetings and hang out with other like-minded parents, just like you are right now. Such a wonderful, wonderful way to get people to find us. I did want to encourage you guys, if you've never done an event like this before, don't be afraid to do it. It doesn't have to be big. I like the big events, but it doesn't have to be big. It can be small. You can use your normal meeting space. All you really need is a space. And I mean, kind of big, but I mean, as long as it can hold, it doesn't have to be that big. I mean, probably 30 to 50 people should be substantial, and then you can start small. Maybe don't make it public on Facebook, just kidding. But there's so many leaders and so many of us, and Arizona is so big that I think it would be really, really wonderful to see quite a few Live Love Latch events around the state, around the cities even. But anyway, I just wanted to share some stuff that I've done at previous Live Love Latch events, and you know, to give you guys maybe some ideas of things to do. I usually ask for some place to donate snacks to our events, like bakeries or places. Thank you, babe. Like bakeries or something like that to donate, like cookies, or I don't know. One year we had bagels and coffee. Just anything like that. Places are usually really good at donating, and they don't hesitate, and they're sure, yeah, how much do you need? We're on it. But if that's something that you feel uneasy about asking people for, another thing I've done is I've had like a baking competition almost. Maybe not baking anyway. I did dessert competition, and asked parents who were coming to the event to make their favorite boob breast inspired snack. Dessert, maybe not a snack. I don't know, could be a snack. And then we gave a little prize to the most creative one, and we had people make cakes, we had people make cookies, we had people make cupcakes, and they came out so cute and so clever, and it cost us nothing. And it was really fun because we had enough food for everyone, and everyone was able to eat one and, you know, share it with the whole event. But I don't know. It's a fun way to get food if you don't want to ask a company or organization or something to donate. We usually do a few activities at our event. A couple years in a row I did a story time from a library. So the library come out and do a little story time. You could even ask them if they have any breastfeeding related books they could read. We did a music time one year. I had Baby and Me yoga, baby wearing dancing lady come out. It was like a Zumba baby wearing. It was super fun. Anything like that to like get people out. You don't have to do any of that stuff either, but it's fun and you can. We also do lots of giveaways, and that's one of my favorite things to do, is to have giveaways to hand out to parents and just to celebrate World Breastfeeding Month week and Global Breastfeeding Month and all of that stuff. It's just so fun to have these giveaways. And you can have anybody donate, really, as long as they're WHO code compliant. The possibilities are endless. I mean, not endless, but get creative. Lots of places that you can consider having donate. We do breastfeeding jewelry. We've done photography sessions. La Leche League has a whole Live Love Latch group, and they always put out people who are going to donate or will donate too. So hit that up if you're interested. I think the Phoenix group, Julie, you guys did like chiropractor last year and little boutique shops, and I don't know, there's just so much that you could do with donations, and it's just so fun to be able to celebrate all the families in our community, and again, create that little personalized community pocket when you do these events for our families, and, you know, celebrate them and all they've accomplished with or without La Leche League, and get our name out there. It's just so wonderful. Yeah, and I think, like I said, it would be so wonderful to have quite a few of these events around the state if we can. Keep it simple if you want to, and just see what happens and see who shows up, and it will be great regardless of what happens. But that's mostly all I have to talk about today. I look forward to the day that I can meet many of you in person, because I was really bummed that we couldn't do that this year. But hopefully in the fall, I will see all of your faces and be able to hug you and not stand 6 feet apart. And this little guy will be almost 2, and I probably won't have to bring him with me. I mean, maybe. And I will get to meet you guys soon. I can't believe that he nursed and stayed asleep through all this. So, yay. Stay well, stay healthy. Thanks for sharing all the LLL love and listening to me talk for 26 minutes.